So hi folks, I'm Alan. I work here as a principal software engineer. Okay, so this is one of this talk is mainly about one of the hobby projects that I did in like 2 weekends or something. So my talk is mainly about identifying scams and misinformation using AI. Okay, so I'll give you a very good example here. So this is a website. Uh, unluckily, I bought the stuff from this website, this specific product. Okay, and I received this in my in my delivery. So there is nothing inside. It's a bunch of junk. Ended up like I got scammed, and eventually I tried to get my money back and I got it, but it was very painful. So mainly we'll see the problem statement. First of all, like there are a lot of e-commerce website. Even if you take the bigger players like Amazon, Flipkart, they weaponize like fake trust signals, mainly these fabricated reviews, where you can see a lot of fabricated reviews which you can't believe if it's true or not. Okay, so same inflated ratings, false claims. So it's very hard to judge credibility in real time. And there are a lot of reviews. For example, one human being can't sit and read all the reviews to figure out who is doing the fake review or who is doing a real review or paid review, whatever. So it's very difficult. And at the same time, there are lack of credible sources. So for example, a company like me, Procedure, can ask like our employees to write a good review, okay, but no one will pay someone to write a honest review. It hasn't happened yet. So that is one more thing. And the third is like easy marketing. Like, so you can create a website, you can attach a payment gateway, and you can run an ad and you can scam people straight away. Like no questions asked. Like it's very easy. Like you can just write all those. You can use the AI itself to create the website that you want to scam people, to be honest. So that happens. So now how does AI help here? So AI can go through a set of data from the website itself. So what we can do is we can scrape data from the website, the metadata from the website, or either the reviews posted in social media platform. For example, like someone like me got scammed and he went to Twitter to rant about it, or maybe went to Reddit to rant about it. There is that data. So what we can do is we can take these data, we can compile it together, and we can send it across the GPT to as a prompt to figure out like what exactly this specific website is. Like, is it a scam? Is it is it pose some kind of a security risk or something like that? So here I used chain of thought model and set up some prompts to enable AI for critical thinking and decision making. So it's, for example, for everybody to make a critical thinking, it is a skill that you have to it is a skill that you only acquire through a lot of experiences. I mean, like, you must have been gotten like through a bad time, then you, before you go to the same like scenario, you'll figure out, okay, I had been this in this situation, now I don't want to be, because this is not going to work out for me. So something, it is something for a normal person to figure out. AI can do it in 30 seconds. So that's how AI is going to help here. So I created a very small project called Fraudvisor. So it's a very small proof of concept which identifies scams for e-commerce websites only for right now. Okay, so it does 4 things. It gathers. So first, it collects data from multiple places like reviews, forums, domains like Scam Advisor and stuff. Or maybe it also checks the news. Second is, it looks for red flags like fake reviews. Like if you find some similarity in the reviews, it will identify those things. How old the domain is. Like, for example, if the domain is registered 1 month ago and it shows it as like, okay, this is a huge brand, because we are seeing the Instagram ads every time. If we think about something, we'll see an ad on the Instagram about it. So that we can't like escape from that. So usually it checks all of this. Then it decides like what are the evidence that it got, like what are the credible evidences, how much it is like going to, how much it is like aligning with the data that has been sent to it. So then it does a chain of thought process to decide what summary it should give it to the user, and it will explain it with a very small summary, and it will give you a verdict or something, not being judgmental, but like it's pretty straightforward. Like, so the functionality is like very simple. I have a web app which will accept a URL, any URL, just copy the URL and add it. It will run the agent, and it will show a risk verdict with evidence and a shareable report link. So that it provides. So front end has a dashboard kind of showing site score, risk factors and stuff. And back end has three specific services. One is a web scraping service, which does classification of websites. So it will scrape the data and the metadata from the website. So here a very crucial point for that website to have is an SEO. So SEO, what it does is SEO is basically search engine optimization, but what it does is it adds keywords to the website which will make the website, or maybe the product, or maybe the business for more clarification. It will give more clarity to the business. Okay. Second is a very simple Google search API where I'll just put on some search keywords and it will search me a list of Google searches which we can send it across to the model. And a security report generation service which gathers both the above data, and it will send it to a prompt to GPT-4o model. 4o is the critical thinking model. So basically, for currently the Fraudvisor's use case is just to identify e-commerce websites which are having high risk of potential scams. Okay, and in future we can use the same AI as a layer in emails. Like for example, Google has Gemini. So Google can integrate this use case inside Gemini to identify phishing emails that you receive most of the time. A lot of people get scammed very easily by emails. Okay, they can't believe, and sometimes it happens. So it can identify it and it can send it, it can give us a pop-up or something. You can improve VPN browsing. So for example, some people use VPN, or maybe companies use VPN. So there are high risk where vulnerability attacks happen, or like where they are sent a link to click on it. So instead of going to the link, the AI can actually analyze what's inside the link by scraping the data of the link and then giving it to them straightforward that like this link may or may not be clickable. It's not advised to click on this link or something like that. So these are the basic use cases. There might be more use cases like based on this. Like it can go to a much better scenario where you can also handle or tackle misinformation. But for that you need to have the right data. For example, we can't still figure out what's fact and what is opinions, and because some people say this is my opinion, some people say my opinion is my fact. So it's very complicated. So we still need the right amount of data to train the AI, and once it is done much better, we can use the whole concept of handling misinformation via Fraudvisor, or maybe this whole concept like identifying scams and misinformation. So I'll show you the product actually. So I've just done a POC. So it's very simple. I go to this website, I'll just copy this link, I paste it here. I'll just click on analyze. So it'll take some time because since this is the first time. So I've done a cost effective scenario where, once a website is getting analyzed for the first time, what it does is that it goes through the whole process, then it'll save the data in the database. So next time what happens is whenever I want the website data, it will fetch it from the database so that I can reduce the amount of cost going to the AI models. So this is a summary that is given by the AI model, like very small summary. And if I click on show more details, so this gives the website analysis. It gives what product and service is and what business category, what are the target audience. And these are the reviews from the sources. So for example, this is X. So this is basically previously Twitter, Reddit, and like you can see all the sources. Once you click on this, you can go to the whole Reddit link post where it explains the whole, like what exactly is the review and stuff like that. It's still not like 100% good, but it is like just a start of what AI can achieve through critical thinking and like improve, like people not getting scammed. So this is my talk. If you guys have any questions, I'm open to answer.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, have you, like, are you putting any thought process into the factor that currently there are a few services out there where let's take Combat Gear for an example.
Yeah.
So, Combat Gear is my brand, and let's suppose a year later or 2 years down the line, the domain expires.
Yeah.
And me as the business owner, I decided, okay, I don't want to renew that domain or domain ka subscription anymore. So, is Fraudvisor putting any thought process into the factor that currently there are services out there where me as an adversary or an attacker who wants to perform phishing against let's take procedure के employees, वहाँ पे जाके I can buy expired domains. So the factor कि okay, Fraudvisor is validating कि हाँ भाई एक domain 1 महीने पहले खरीदा है 2 महीने पहले खरीदा है, right? So any thought process behind that कि भाई एक pre-owned domain जो expire हो गया मैंने वो ले लिया?
No, so there is a scenario in Whois where Whois will tell the domain purchased the beginning and then the renewed date, right? So it will look at those data points basically. So Whois domain lookup is the basic thing it does. I mean, you can't, for example, you as a brand, as a Combat Gear brand, it's 2 months old. You have to do a lot of work in order to get credibility in the market, to be honest. You have to do good marketing. You need to have some influencers talking about your brand and stuff. So that is one thing. But SEO is also a very important part of the whole ecosystem of branding, because you need to get good ranking in the Google. That is one thing. That is what it is used. Now if you have good metadata in your website, it will clarify your what product you sell and everything. So it will, based on that, it will give a much more clear information. But still, it's not going to take the scraping part as an important thing. That is just a data that has been provided. Even if you don't provide the website scraping data, it can find out from other sources and give a ultimatum, like give a summary that this is what it is, like, kind of. And there are certain scenarios where this makes mistakes. This is not 100% like working scenario, because we just made it like in a weekend or something, and then like after that we haven't touched it yet. So like we just have to go back again and look at it. We were about to, like, what we thought about, like, we also made a web extension. So whenever you go to a website, the web extension will automatically call its API and find out if the website is secure or not, and it will just pop up here in the browser itself as a external script. So that's what the goal was, but we couldn't finish that because we had some problems with the web extension. So we just kept it as it is right now. Probably we'll make it, and we'll improve the AI. I mean, like, improve it much more by trying to customize, fine-tune models specifically for this kind of work. So it has a lot of work to be done. Any other questions?
Are you open for recommendations?
Yeah.
I would also suggest implementing certificate transparency checks. There is this website which is known as crt.sh.
Okay.
You could try opening that. That can help you identify when a particular SSL certificate expired and when it got renewed. So, in order to save cost, what you can do is that instead of you trying to find out all the domains that are expired in n point of time, you can directly query the crt.sh API and get data.
So basically, if a certificate expires, there is always a chance where this whole thing, the whole domain might not work, or maybe it will give us a red color thing here on the top of the address bar. But what do we do if it's like, for example, this specific website? I did some digging into it. This has a like a .co.in domain with SSL certificate. They have ShipRocket as their external shipping and payment gateway partner. Now this is an actual company that exists, because ShipRocket doesn't give anything like directly to random people, right? KYC, there is a concept called KYC that happens. but still they are doing scams. So how do we figure it out?
CRT.sh does tell you that against a particular domain, which could be X years old or X number of months or days old, it tells ki chalo bhai, there is Shiprocket, which is a very big company that delivers products. When was the particular SSL certificate was assigned to a domain? So using that correlation analysis, it will be like the tool will become much more efficient in order to identify.
Yeah. So I mean, if you have more tools that can identify more stuff, now we'll try incorporating that one by one. So all we want is more data sets for the AI to get trained and then give us the proper results instead of like, I mean, AI also has some error rate eventually, so it might give like the wrong kind of scenario, so wrong answers also. So there is no right answer to right now, like always, like we can't take AI to the truth, but we can at least be cautious for right now. That's all.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You started with using AI for critical thinking.
Yeah.
How do you build that? Like this is one solution that.
So basically, right now I've just used a very basic prompting structure. I might have the code. I'll just show you. I think I had a help from one of our teammates, Aniket. I think he's not here right now, but he helped me with the scripting and stuff. So if you see, there are prompts. So like I have two prompts. One is for website classifier. So I'll just zoom this. So this is a very simple website classifier prompt which scrapes the website, okay, and which has a website scraped. The data will be forwarded via this, and it will just give us the website classification. And then there is this security report generation prompt. So here is the whole security analysis function. This is the prompt, and so here what is the kind of object I want, like this is the object I want as a response data. Okay. Now what I'm using here is I am using a GPT-4 model for website classification because I don't need a lot of thinking there. It's very simple. But for security report, I'm using a critical thinking model because that's where the job is done. So, and I think I'm using some external thing, like this is a SERP API, SERPer or something, which is a Google API, so it gives us Google searches and stuff. So that is one thing. And yeah, I think so far this is what it is. Like it's a very simple concept. We didn't do a lot of research in this. Like as I told you, it just built in 2 days, so we could figure out the whole whole prompts, and we tried to fix the prompts 2-3 times to get the proper results, but eventually we landed with the proper results. Matlab we are getting at least 70% proper responses. There are 30% we have like bad responses. So
The idea is you use multiple standalone prompts and essentially
so
you use a critical thinking.
Yeah. So I think Yashwardhan mentioned about CRT.sh. So like this, there are many other tools. What we want is we want to leverage those tools, want those data, and we'll just keep it in some. We'll whenever a user searches for it, for example, whenever a user goes to Google, so not every user is going to Google, right? So what we can do here is like we call the API for all of them, we collect the data, and we send the data directly to AI. AI will do the job, and then it will give us a response which we will store it in the database so that we can reuse that data. Now, if we want to update the data, we'll set up a timeline to perform a cron job which will, regularly update the data. But we don't want, we can set how much regular we want. Like we can set it for individual websites also. So,
my question was, if I go to like 4.0 model today and write everything that you wanted,
yeah,
take this particular URL,
yeah,
do this, check reviews across Reddit, Twitter, and all that.
yeah.
Can it not generate a similar report? Like what is
No, so we tried doing directly via search web option. It could not give us a proper answer. So we had to get separate data from separate places.
Answer the question. Today's model, for example, take GPT-5. It's a whole suite of models wherein it's a spectrum from, it can either be a thinking model to a very operational model, non-thinking model, right? So to answer the question, you can start with, okay, I need analysis, and you can set the thinking budget to maximum for a model. There's got something called thinking budget for any model. So you can keep it to maximum and see what the result is. Or else you can substitute that thinking model with writing a very detailed step-by-step prompt. First go this, go over here, check this. If you see this, then go to this place, do this. And for example, if you know the domain in and out, for example, if you're in finance, right? And if I come to you for investment, let's say if this, I have this much corpus, where should I invest? You would first analyze what is my age, what is my risk assessment, what is at this age, what do I want, what is my goal, and all that, right? So you have some intrinsic knowledge about how you go about structuring the entire investment for someone like me. So if you can get that step-by-step process in a prompt, you could actually not maximize the thinking budget and go on a very low thinking budget, and you can still get the same result. But it's completely up to you how modular, how granular you break down the prompts and substitute that thinking with your own thinking. So that's where that spectrum is. Or else you can say, okay, I have this corpus, my age is this much, now suggest me something, and you can maximize thinking budget. Or you can lower the thinking budget and say that, okay, I don't want to use thinking budget, I don't want to spend that much cost in AI because I have the domain knowledge. So let me use my domain knowledge and let me craft a prompt such a way that it creates a similar result. So you can play around with you and see what you want to end up with. It's always a compromise between the performance that you want, the cost that you're looking at, the latency that you want, and your skill level. So these are the 4 levels that you have in any AI kind of a system, and you have to play with according to your strength what you want and what you don't want, right? So I hope that answers.
Yeah.
Yeah, since also Swapnil explained MCP, I could also use an MCP to structure the whole, whatever responses I need, and I can specifically target certain sources of data like Reddit and stuff like that. We can improve that like that way also. Like I've first time heard of MCP here only. Like I didn't focus much there. Like I didn't have much use of that. So yeah. Any other questions?
Can you do the analysis of that website?
Huh?
Which has scanned.
This one.
Demo words.
Did you hardcode this?
This is from a database. This is from a database, right? You might
Yeah, I already added this in the database because obviously I'll test the first website I'll test is the website that scammed me. So see here it's the summary explains everything. It also explains like product and service. The website does not provide specific details about any products or services it offers. But here you can see it's a clothing website. Okay, so the lack of metadata here. So here we can see all of this. Plus the summary will explain everything. Like it's just the best way to do it. There are like a lot of complaints here. If you can see all these reviews, you can directly go and read the whole reviews, the thread and stuff.
See, Sam Altman has a major stake in Reddit. So OpenAI is like OpenAI models are trained on Reddit a lot. So if it's on Reddit, you will mostly be able to get it as a scam or not over here as well.
Cool. Then I think anybody has any other questions? Done. Then I think thank you so much.